Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Welcome. Now, the trial this week, I decided to just take it off instead of giving you guys 3-4 hour trials every day of this, because some of it is just repetitive and some of the witnesses, it doesn't really go anywhere. So this was some testimony of firsthand account that you've heard previously before by EDI Mean. Name is Malcolm Greenridge, I believe is his real name, but Keefe D seemed like stunned by the testimony. He didn't even want to be there. They had to force him to be there for this trial date. And I found that was very interesting, figuring that it was something for Tupac, him saying he didn't want to be there. I was like, all right, whatever. But anyway, let's listen to this testimony, as now the prosecution has rest their side. Like, they've given all their circumstantial evidence, they're done. The defense is probably going to wrap up on Monday. So this thing should be getting wrapped up by the beginning of next week. So I'm thinking about Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, this whole thing should be over. Now, right, getting back to the basics of things, right? That's what we need to be focused on here and get to the reality of situations. So let's take a listen as he comes into the courtroom.
May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
First name Malcolm, MALCOLM, GREENIDGE. This is my last name.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Greenidge. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Paul, you may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Greenidge.
Good morning.
Sir, is it fair to say that you were initially resistant to attending court?
That is fair.
And in fact, we had to get a compelling order to get you to come here.
Mm-hmm.
So yes?
Yes.
And so you're here because a court in California ordered you to come here.
Yes.
Okay. I want to ask you about somebody by the name of Tupac Shakur. Did you know Mr. Shakur?
I did.
How did you know him?
He was a childhood friend, a family member, big brother, mentor. The list goes on and on.
Is it also fair to say that you guys work professionally together?
We did.
Can you tell us about that?
I had a dream to be a rapper. Mr. Shakur saw something in me, and he agreed to, help me make that dream come true. So I was in a group called Outlaws.
And is it fair to say that the Outlaws produced a number of CDs with Mr. Shakur and outside of Mr. Shakur as well?
We did release an album with Mr. Shakur.
I'm going to direct your attention to the weekend of September 1996, specifically September 7th of 1996. Did you come out here to Las Vegas?
Yes, we did.
Why?
It was a Mike Tyson fight out here that we were supposed to attend, and then there was a party performance afterwards.
What vehicle did you come here in?
We came here in the Lexus. It was Kadada Jones's car.
And who was Kadada Jones to Tupac Shakur at
She
that
was
time?
Tupac's fiance at the time.
Did Tupac drive in with you, or did he drive separately?
He did. He drove with us.
In the same vehicle?
Yes.
Where were you staying?
Where did we stay?
Yeah.
In Las Vegas?
Yeah.
We stayed at the Luxor.
And did any other members of your rap group, the Outlaws, come as well?
Absolutely, yes.
Who came?
2 more of my childhood friends, Raphael Fuller and Katari Cox.
Did you end up going to the fight?
No.
Why?
Well, during that day, Tupac was gambling, enjoying Vegas. He made some money when we got back to the hotel. He said, we're going to go change. I'm going to call y'all when I'm ready. And we're going to go to the fight. And we never got that phone call.
So you ended up staying at the Luxor.
No.
What did you end up doing?
We ended up trying to meet up with Mr. Shakur. We knew where the fight was at, obviously. So when we didn't get the phone call, we just left to go, get with him.
Now, there's a video, which I'm sure you're familiar with, of the incident between Mr. Shakur and other members of his group that were at the fight and somebody by the name of Orlando Anderson. Were you there during any of that?
No.
Did you at some point leave the MGM and go back to the Luxor?
Yes, I would. We never really made it into the MGM. As we were approaching the MGM, Tupac and Suge was coming out.
So, and then what did you leave with Tupac and Suge and everybody that was leaving the MGM?
Correct.
Now, you had mentioned a concert or performance that was supposed to happen later that night. Was that at Club 662?
Yes,
At some point, do you leave to go to Club 662?
we do.
What vehicle did you go to Club 662 in?
The same car I drove to Vegas in.
And that was that Lexus?
Correct.
Was Tupac in the car with you then?
No.
What car was Tupac in?
Tupac was riding in the car with Suge Knight.
And who was Suge Knight to you? How did you know who Suge was?
He was the CEO of the label that Tupac Shakur was signed to.
And was that Death Row Records?
Correct.
Was there? Were you aware of there being more than 2 cars? Were there a number of cars headed towards Club 662?
There was a caravan of cars. How many? I don't know.
And position-wise, where were you relative to Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight's car?
Right behind him.
Now, I'm going to take you to the shooting. While you're stopped at the lights on Flamingo and Koval, does something happen?
Yes.
Do you notice a vehicle pull up next to Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight's vehicle?
But yeah.
Can you tell us what you see?
We were at a light. Mr. Shakur and Suge Knight was talking to some young ladies. We couldn't hear what they was talking about. When those young ladies pulled off, another car pulled up and started shooting at Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight. And
do you recall what kind of car that was?
It was a light-colored white Cadillac.
And do you recall, was it a 2-door or 4-door?
It was a 4-door.
And when you saw the shooting, did somebody get out of the car and start shooting, or were they shooting from inside the vehicle?
The shots came from inside the vehicle.
And was it from the front or back seat?
It was from the back seat.
And did you see the arm or the gun or anything like that?
The arm and the gun attached to that arm.
And were you able to make an assessment of whether the person whose arm was out was white, Asian, Hispanic, or African American? In terms
From my vantage point, they appeared to be African American.
What's your reaction when you see the shots?
I'm horrified.
And I'm sorry, I don't think I asked this question. Who was in the Lexus with you at that point?
Security, Frank Alexander, Raphael Fuller, and Katari Cox.
So 2 of the fellow members of the Outlaws, and then a security guard named Frank Alexander.
Right.
What do you guys do in the immediate aftermath of the shooting?
We started to get out of the car to go check on Tupac. And that's what we did.
Do all of you make it to Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight's car?
No.
Does anybody make it to Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight's car? What happens?
Shook pulled off, made a U-turn.
Or do you guys follow them, or do you drive off someplace else?
No, we followed them.
And that's by do you guys have to make a U-turn to follow them? Does Mr. Knight's car stop ultimately at an intersection?
It does.
What happened? Are you following him to that intersection?
You are.
What happens when you stop at that intersection?
We get out of the car to go check on Tupac.
And are you able to make it to Tupac's vehicle? Why not?
When we approached the car, Mr. Shakur said to me, get on the ground, they're gonna shoot you. And when I turned around, it was a shotgun in my face.
And who was holding the shotgun?
Police officer.
So what do you do?
I got on the ground.
Were you able to observe any of the injuries to Mr. Shakur at that time?
I could not see the injuries to Mr. Shakur.
Were you able to see any of the injuries to Mr. Knight?
His head appeared to be bleeding.
And how is it that you were able to see Mr. Knight's injuries?
Because he was out of the car asking for help for Tupac.
So then you're at basically the wrong end of a shotgun from a police officer and on the ground. How long are you in that situation for?
It seemed like forever.
Are you able to observe the events that are going around you?
I can hear.
And what do you see? Does medical ultimately arrive to help Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight? And are they transported away from the scene?
Correct.
And then at some point, are you asked by police officers to give a statement?
I am.
And do you give a statement?
I do.
And do you, it's fair to say, or is it fair to say, that you weren't able to see the faces of the people in the Cadillac?
That's correct.
And so you couldn't identify who was there, who was in the car.
Silhouettes.
Okay. I'm gonna, Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
I'm gonna show you what's been previously admitted as grand jury exhibit number 150. Do you recognize any of the folks in this picture?
I recognize two of them.
Okay, and there's a mouse there right next to you. Don't click on it, but if you can drag it to the people you recognize and tell us who they are.
That's me. That's Katari Cox.
And Katari Cox was one of the other artists who was part of your.
Correct. One thing that that's come up, you've obviously, in the 30 years of losing your friend and family member, Mr. Shakur, I'm sure you've been exposed to a lot of the rumors or innuendo associated with his passing. Is that fair to say? I've heard it all.
Okay. One of the things is that Mr. Shakur was upset with the situation at death row. Have you heard that?
I have.
And was Mr. Shakur somebody that you had spent a lot of time with professionally and personally?
Correct.
Was he somebody that would tell you what his plans were and whether or not he was upset with his current situation?
I shared a lot.
Did he share with you what his plans were, professional plans were, proceeding from the release of the Machiavelli album?
He wanted to get his label started, Machiavelli Records. He wanted to put out the Outlaws album that we was working on. It was supposed to be distributed by Death Row Records. And he was in talks with Quincy Jones to do some business with Quincy.
So Mr. Shakur's plan was to imprint his own record company, but have it distributed by Death Row Records.
That's what he told us.
Seal pass this.
Cross-examination, Mr. Sims.
Mr. Greenwich, thank you for being here today. Just with regards to the last thing that Steve had asked you, the work that Mr. Shakur was going to do with Quincy Jones, that involved Death Row Records?
No.
So it was work that he was going to do on his own, like maybe movies and a few other things with Quincy Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Okay, and that's only just for the record. Now, in terms of the death row label, do you know whatever happened with that label? The business itself?
I think it's still going to this day.
And in terms of the label, who's currently on it?
Do I know who's currently on it?
Yes, sir.
I do.
Yeah, at the time of when Tupac was killed, who was on the label at that particular point?
It was a lot of artists.
Well, give us the ones that you.
Snoop Dogg, the Dog Pound, Lady of Rage, Tupac, MC Hammer.
So, for instance, with Snoop Dogg, did he at some point, is he still currently on the label as far as you know?
Is he currently on the label?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure what label Snoop Dogg is on.
Okay. And I'm sure MC Hammer hasn't made any albums lately, right?
That I cannot say yes or no to it either. I don't pay that much attention.
Now, so your testimony here today is that you drove into town with Tupac, Tupac's fiance, and somebody else in a Lexus. Is that a yes?
That's correct.
And that would have been, what day was that exactly? The day of the fight, the day before?
That was the day of the fight.
So, so you arrived into Las Vegas with the morning of Saturday? The fight's on Saturday?
It was late afternoon.
Okay. And the intention was that you all, including Mr. Shakur, would be staying at the Luxor.
That's correct.
Now, you're not at the fight, and at some point, you're notified by somebody that you're going to get picked up by people to leave the Luxor. Is that how it worked?
No.
Okay, can you please explain that for me again, please?
We just left the hotel once we knew Mr. Shakur had left.
I see. And so you left the hotel, meaning you left in the Lexus?
No. We
Well, how
left
did
on
you-
foot.
You left on foot. Now, when you left on foot from the Luxor, was that after the fight?
I don't know if the fight was over or not. We don't know if the fight is over or not. We're just on our way
And
to
where?
meet with Mr. Shakur
Okay, and where did you go to meet with Mr. Shakur?
at the MGM where the fight was.
Okay, and did you arrive at the MGM at some point?
Yes, we did.
Did you meet up with Mr. Shakur at the MGM?
Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight were coming out as we were going in.
Okay, and when you say coming out, we're talking about coming out of the property itself.
Correct.
So, and when that happened, what did you do next?
We turned around and started going back the other way, back to the Luxor.
All right, so you all returned back to the Luxor.
Correct.
And was there a plan at that particular point to do anything?
Get dressed.
And what was the purpose of getting dressed?
Mr. Shakur had a performance to do that night.
I see. And do you know where the performance was?
It was at Club 662.
Okay. And do you know where the location of Club 62 is?
I do not.
All right. So everyone got dressed in their separate rooms. Yes?
Correct.
And then you came back down and you were picked up by somebody, or did you just drive your own vehicle?
We were in a Lexus that was belonging to Kadada Jones. Tupac Shakur and Suge was in Suge's car.
All right. And you said there was a caravan of vehicles. I think the question was asked, do you know how many vehicles was in that caravan that came through the Luxor?
I do not.
All right. But in terms of where you were in relation to Suge's vehicle, how many vehicles back were you from Suge's vehicle?
We were directly behind them.
I see. And then when you leave the Luxor, where did you go next?
We went to head to Club 662. That was what I was told where we were going.
Okay. But did you eventually end up over at Suge's residence? Suge's
Yeah.
residence? Okay. So even though you said, okay, we're going to go to Club 62, ultimately, you actually went to Suge's residence first.
Correct.
All right. And do you know what the reason was for that?
No.
Tour? But, and fair to say, since you've been to his residence, it's a gated community.
I don't remember how we got in. I don't remember if it was gated or not.
Okay. But you were there at Suge's residence, and at some point the caravan leaves Suge's residence and then starts heading towards 662.
Correct.
All right. Now, on the moment of the shooting, Your testimony is you saw what you believe to be a white, was it a white Cadillac?
Correct.
Now, do you recall giving a statement to police officers that same morning or so that you thought it was either going to be a white or cream colored Cadillac? You didn't know for sure?
I don't remember what my statement was 30 years ago.
So would a review of your statement help refresh your recollection as to what you told the detective that night?
If you have that available.
No, just one moment.
Of course.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
May I ask you to wander the courtroom freely?
Sure.
Thank you. Sir, I'm going to show you this statement here. Just read it to yourself, just in that page right there. I'm just telling you you're done. Okay. Does that help your refresh your recollection as what you told police officers that night?
Yeah, it's similar to what I just said earlier.
And that is, you said it was a light colored, when the question was asked, what color was it? White, I would say light. I'm not even going to say white. I'm going to say a light colored Cadillac.
Correct.
But once again, it's something that obviously in that sort of scenario would come off as either white or light colored, right?
That night.
Yeah. In addition to that, when you observed the driving conduct of Suge in the BMW, he made a U-turn and went back onto Las Vegas Boulevard.
I don't know where he was going. That's where he ended up.
Okay. And so at some point you all stopped because he stops.
Right.
And you get out of your vehicle to render aid to Tupac.
No, it wasn't to render aid. It was to see how he was doing. Okay.
And so when you approach Tupac, at that particular point, he warns you and says, and I'm sorry, I just want to make sure we're down. Get on the ground. They're going to shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Correct.
And that would have been because right behind you were police officers with a shotgun.
Correct.
Now, you're kept at the scene for some time, and you see a picture of you sitting on the ground, right?
Correct.
Do you know how many other of the caravan vehicles were present at the time that you had stopped at the final location where Tupac was at?
I do not.
Was it the same amount as what you had in the beginning when everyone was going to Shook's residence?
I could not tell you.
I have no further questions, John.
Okay, and
Thank
you
you.
redirect Mr. Palal.
Nothing to say.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are there any questions for this witness? Please raise your hand if you have any. All right, seeing none, thank you so much. Oh, you do have one, sorry. Jumped the gun on that. And the parties approach.
Now, after listening to that testimony, you can see right away what the situation was. All he could really tell them was
All right, Mr. Green.
that was all that he could pretty much stand. In the whole investigation, that's pretty much all he had that he could really deliver as far as testimony. And all it is giving a character witness and statement. And you have other witnesses that stepped up to testify also to give, some testimony on what they witnessed. Here was another guy that showed up and said he was a witness to the situation.
Defense's 180-page return to the October.
Mr. Davis, that's on the video.
Yep.
I guess two things, Your Honor. First,
So once they took the recess and came back, yeah, it's a whole different thing. So just because Edie was there, Edie wasn't at the fight. Edie was at the crib. They didn't get a ticket for Edie to come back to do anything. So it was nothing really Edie could say except for the character witness that he saw an arm come out of the window and the gun attached to the arm. So he saw that before the shooting. They can't interview Frank Alexander because Frank Alexander is deceased. He didn't see the murder. He lived right around there. He had an apartment at that time that was right there near the strip, right on like Koval. A lot of different things happened at that time. Some didn't make a lot of sense, and a lot of it did. And him and Keefe D, the lawyer, them, they come back in the room.
On record in State versus Davis,
And it was back on.
C-377-407. My understanding is we have one thing we need to address outside the presence before we bring the jury back in.
yes, I guess two things, Your Honor. First is we'll be admitting some jail calls. We've edited those down to not include the lead-in and just the relevant portions, as opposed to Mr. Sam, who are those redactions. The issue that Mr. Sam raised to me was regarding, we were playing about, I think, less than 10 minutes of YouTube video, but Mr. Sam has an issue with
So the jail call issue is done.
the jail call issue is done.
You're just putting that on record that there's no objection to the foundation for that, and you're not doing it through the custodian of records.
Yes, we had agreed ahead
Okay.
of time.
Got it. So moving on to the issue with the YouTube videos.
Yes, Your Honor. My understanding is Mr. Samt has an objection as to the foundation for the YouTube videos.
That's correct, John. My understanding is that they're going to produce an individual that works for the Clark County District Attorney's Office will come here and basically just say that he found the videos on YouTube. I don't think there's going to be, I don't think there's going to be foundation laid properly in terms of when the videos were taken, by who, along those lines. And so as a result, we would just do a preliminary objection to the foundation, maybe just say we'll lay that foundation during the course of the trial.
And what's your proffer as to what you expect the foundation to be?
That our discovery technician went on YouTube and saw the defendant's face, and it's nothing is off camera. It's the defendant's face, and that he's talking in a very recognizable voice that we have all heard. And I think that's sufficient foundation for that. It speaks for itself, similar to the book situation.
And what's your objection that the video is not what it purports to be as to foundation, essentially?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
So foundation, the essential question is that the item being proposed is what it purports to be. What's your objection on those grounds?
I don't think there's an objection that it is Mr. Davis that's on the video. It's more of when and where the videos were taken. So it's not the same group of characters that was from the testimony of Mr. Dorsey, for instance.
Mhm.
It's other people doing those videotapes. So as a result, if there's foundation later on that I'm not, then I think it satisfies that.
I think it satisfies foundation that it is a video of Mr. Davis. It's what you're proposing it be.
Yes.
I think there's probably going to be questions and argument regarding when it was taken, who took it, for what purpose, etc. But as to foundation, I don't think that's lacking.
All right. That's I at least wanted to have that out before the jury came in instead of in the middle.
Okay, that sounds good. So that's my preliminary ruling on that. We can raise it in the moment if there's anything more, if there's more doubts that come up, Mr. Samt. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else? Anything from your side?
No, Your Honor.
I do want to make a record that we replaced, and God, the numbers are escaping me, but I believe it's 121, and then the transcript that goes with the July 17, 2017 with redacted audio and a redacted transcript.
Okay.
I also had marked, I think it's WW, which is the defense's 180-page return to the October 2nd, 1996 search warrant that I also marked for the defense.
Okay, sounds good. All right, let's bring in the jury.
Time for the jury.
Will the party stipulate the presence of the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may be seated. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're still in the state's case in chief for now. State, who's your next witness?
State's witness is Adam Stair.
Just here for you.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Do.
You may be seated. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
My name is Adam Stair, ADAMSTOEHR.
All right, thank you, sir. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Stair, how are you employed?
I'm an electronic evidence specialist for the Clark County District Attorney's Office.
And how long have you been an electronic discovery specialist within the District Attorney's Office?
About 3.5 years now.
Okay, and what do your job duties entail?
We collect evidence from various databases and we download it and upload it into our case file for the attorneys.
And do you also ensure that those pieces of evidence are distributed then to defense counsel?
Yes, we prepare them for discovery and we send them out.
I'm going to ask you particularly about things I asked you to do in this case. Did I ask you to obtain YouTube videos of the defendant, Mr. Davis?
You did?
And did you do that?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that there were a number of videos?
Yes, that is fair to say.
And then did I next ask you to reduce those videos to just a small number of brief clips for the purposes of the presentation today?
You did.
Okay. And Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Do you recognize what State's Proposed 165 is?
I do.
What is State's Proposed 165?
Is a CD of YouTube exhibits.
And does this CD contain the actual videos that you compilated and then clipped?
Yes, there should be 3 videos.
Your Honor, at this point, I'm going to move State's Exhibit 165 to evidence.
Any further objection, Mr. Stamps?
No, Your Honor.
All right, over objection, they will be admitted.
At this time, we're going to publish State's Exhibit 165.
You may.
Before we get into this, again, these are very small snippets of much larger, longer videos.
Yes, very much longer interviews.
In order?
Let's do the book first.
You and Orlando and everyone else meets up, but you guys don't have any guns.
Who said that?
Well, it was in the book until Von Zip came in the picture.
Yeah. All right, let's. I don't want to talk about that.
Okay,
Let's get that one.
but it is in the book.
Okay, yeah. Let them read about it.
Okay, and I guess Foxy Brown was with Zip.
Let them read about it.
Okay. Well, according to the book, which there's going to be a link in the video that you can actually order from.
That's right. Matter of fact, let me see my book.
You want to go ahead and show the book?
Yeah, let's show the book. Yeah, this is my book here. I would like you guys to buy it and get the real truth instead of from a cop or some fucking industry people, some bullshit. You getting it from a real motherfucker. So go get the book, and you can get the real truth about this whole situation. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and read from the book passage.
Okay.
On getting a gun for the Tupac hit. While we were waiting for the valet to bring out our cars, Zip seized the opportunity and called me over to his Benz. Zip was a big-time New York player, pimp, and hustler who used to come out to California and handle his business and kick it with us sometimes. As I walked up to the driver's side, I noticed the rapper Foxy Brown was in the car with Zip. So he instructed her to step out of the car and motioned for me to jump in. Zip had a hidden compartment, and he opened up, reached in, and pulled back a 40 Glock.
Like I say,
he turned to me and said, "It's time to get the money."
Like I say, get your $20 and read about that part.
I'm going to play the second file.
You had cancer at one point?
Yeah.
You beat it.
I beat it, yeah.
Right? It was a colon cancer?
I told you I beat 3 of the baddest entities in the world. United States government, fucking cancer, and the streets.
And then one last time.
Let me tell you something, brother. Tupac and them jumped on him. He was by himself. He didn't. My nephew never jumped on no fucking Tupac. Come on, man. Tupac was wrong with 2 left fucking shoes, nigga. I mean, don't you think he was wrong? Honestly.
I mean, yeah, I think he could have, reacted in a better way.
You listen, homie. You don't think that man is wrong?
He could have reacted in a better way, I guess. I mean,
I'm talking. Vlad is his fucking biggest fan. He admitted that man is wrong, man.
I mean, yeah, man. I mean, he
Come
was
on,
wrong, man, but that was only done out of loyalty, man.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. He never jumped. My nephew didn't jump on him. He jumped on my nephew, a kid, man. My nephew was a fucking kid. Them was grown-ass men, dude. You know what I'm saying? He was a fucking kid, dude. That's why he had on that jersey. He's a fucking kid, dude. You know what I'm saying? They was wrong. My nephew never jumped on him. They jumped on my nephew. My nephew didn't throw a punch, man. Shit was wrong, dude. Jumped on the fucking kid, dude.
And then, as part of your duties working for the Clark County District Attorney's Office, did you also receive video from the courtroom proceedings in this case?
I did.
And did you receive that one view from a television network and another view that you synced up?
Yes, I did.
And how do you do that?
I use Adobe Premiere Pro. I took both the videos, entered them into the same timeline, and then set them side by side and sync them up so that they played. It's the same video. It's the same video from different angles.
And I'm going to approach Keefe State's proposed Exhibit 166. Did you actually put that compilation on a video? And then, I'm sorry, did you put that video on a CD?
I did.
And is this the CD that you put it on?
Yes, it is.
All right. You all right this time? So it's going to move 166 as evidence.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
So admitted.
This time state's going to publish 166.
I have everyone back here at 3:40. Please rise for the jury.
At that time when Reggie Wright Jr. is sitting in front of the witness stand, that Mr. Davis is mouthing words at Reggie Wright Jr.
Yes.
As part of your duties with the Clark County District Attorney's Office, did you also have access to calls that Mr. Davis made since September of 2023?
I did.
And did I ask you to review some of those calls?
You did.
And did I ask you to clip some portions of those calls for the purpose of a presentation here today?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit 164.
Same thing.
Is this CD the CD that you?
Same thing. So that guy went and clipped up some audio, right?
Mr. Dorsey, are you a detective with Metropolitan Police Department?
Nope.
Now here's the
And your
filmmaker.
testimony here today is really based upon your work for this, let me make sure I got the right book here.
For the book Murder Rap.
No, I had nothing to do with the writing of that book.
I don't care about the writing of the book, but you're here because of the Chronicles, the Death Row Chronicles thing that you did, right?
Let's make sure we're talking about the correct things. I did not write that book. I had nothing to do with it. I made the Murder Rap documentary that came a few years later that was based on that book. And then I was a consultant on Death Row Chronicles series that we've been playing interview from here.
Do you recall when the state asked you that you were first involved with this in 2012?
Yes.
In what way were you involved in this in 2012?
Yes, in late 2012, I came across an article about Greg Kading's Murder Rap book, and that's what first alerted me that the book even existed. And I reached out to Greg, asked if he wanted to make a documentary. He sent me a copy of the book and said, read it, and if I'm still interested, he's interested.
Okay. And your job really was, for the next couple of years, was to, do your own independent research?
Combination of doing my own independent research and also having Greg explain to me, a 3-4 year long investigation that he had conducted.
Your testimony to the jury was that you spent a couple of years doing that.
Correct.
And in terms of the books that you had mentioned that you used was Murder Rap, which is this book right here, right?
Yes.
Written by Greg Kading.
Correct.
And then you also used Kathy Scott's book, right?
That's correct, yes.
This book right here?
Yes.
You know what version of her book that you used?
I'm not sure what version I used.
And then you used another book. And what was that final book?
There was one called Labyrinth by Randall Sullivan.
Did you say that before?
I said it just a minute ago, yes.
Okay. What other books besides that one?
I'm not sure.
Any other books?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, but there might have been some others.
How about Welcome to Death Row by Lee Savage?
No, I've seen the docuseries that he produced, though.
How about this book here by Frank Alexander, who was present on the night of the shooting?
I've read excerpts from that.
Excerpts?
Yes, sir.
Not the whole thing?
No.
Okay. How about this book here? I think you'd mentioned this before, Original Gangsters?
Yes, I've read that book.
That's the one you said before.
No, I don't think I've mentioned that one yet, but I have read that. I know the author.
And then how about this book here? Looks like it's an autobiography, Only God Can Judge Me by Jeff Crook.
Yes, I've read that.
All right. Now, fair to say that when your job here and what you've done is talk to us a little bit about you or your work in the documentary, right? That's what you're doing here today.
Sure, and what I learned in the process of making a documentary, yes.
Right, and what you learned in the process of making a documentary. And I just want to make sure we're clear for the jury. Documentaries really is a business, right?
Sure. It's not a very good business, but yeah.
Yeah. In fact, you could do a lot better than sitting up here today talking about or testifying about a murder that took place 30 years ago, right?
I could do better, what, business-wise?
Yeah.
Sure. If I was running a show for Discovery like I do in the past, yes, that pays very well.
Sure. And with regards to what you do with the business, and I want to make sure the jury understands, there is a project, there is a sort of an idea that's out there that's formulated, and then at some point there is a discussion as to whether or not it's marketable or not, right?
Correct.
And then maybe you go out and you farm it out for people to invest in the project and maybe provide money and funding for the project.
Sometimes you do, and sometimes you just do it yourself.
Right. And the idea behind it at some point is because you want to be able to sell your product to viewers, right?
That's part of the idea, but that's not the only reason I make it.
Sure. Now, in this case, though, when you are looking through your documentary, you're doing a documentary here on the Death Row Chronicles, right? Death Row Chronicles meaning death row, or what was it?
No, I'm focused mainly on the murders of both Tupac and Biggie.
All right. And you team up with Greg Kading.
I do.
And Greg Kading, I would imagine in your work over the 2 years that you did the research, you were looking through all the details of what you could find on the Tupac murder.
Yes, but he also turned over his case files from the LAPD to me. So
Can you describe for us what those case files look like?
Absolutely. They were digitized case files. It was over 2,700 PDF reports going back to 97 or so. Probably over 100 hours of audio of interviews with witnesses and potential suspects, photos, crime scene photos, mainly of the Biggie case, that kind of thing.
Anything else?
Off the top of my head, that's mainly it. You got, there was some video of from the Biggie shooting. There was some home video that was entered into as evidence.
All right. And when you were doing your research, the 2 years of research you did on this particular project, you interviewed detectives?
I did. I interviewed Greg Kading. I interviewed Kelly Cooper, who was one of the original detectives out of Wilshire Homicide on the Biggie case. I interviewed, well, those are the two main detectives I interviewed for the case.
All right. I just want to hear something to do with Las Vegas Metro. Did you interview any detectives in Las Vegas Metro?
I did not.
You do understand that the homicide of Tupac Shakur was the responsibility of Las Vegas Metro?
100%.
And as of right now, you're telling us you interviewed a guy by the name of Greg Kading, who's from California, and some girl from California as well.
No, Kelly Cooper's a man. But yes.
Oh, fine. Kelly Cooper's a man.
Yes.
But both of those people are in California.
Yes.
All right. Now, in addition to that, can you tell us, for instance, who the detectives were that were the lead detectives from Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department that handled this investigation?
Sure.
Please don't interrupt.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You're done. Okay. Sergeant Manning. There was I believe, a Detective Becker, a Detective Long.
Anybody else?
That's all I'm aware of off the top of my head.
Okay. Are you aware of a Detective Mott?
Yes. The current or most recent detective, yes.
Now, when you finally put this project together, I'm assuming at some point you called Metro and said, hey, we got the guy who's confessed now to the crime, right?
I do once Death Row Chronicles airs.
I'm sorry, what?
After Death Row Chronicles airs, I reach out to Metro Police, yes.
Yes, you reach out to Metro Police. Who is it that you spoke to at Las Vegas Metro?
Well, first I got on their website and just emailed their general info@homicide email address. And a while later, Detective Mogg responded to me, and we started going from there.
So you know who Detective Mogg is?
I do, yes.
Now, in fact, you were given an interview at some point in the future by the Sun from England. You recall meeting with a reporter?
Yes.
James Desborough?
Desborough, yes.
Okay. And in that interview, you had told Mr. Desborough that you had sent out 100 emails to Metro.
Eventually, once we're going back and forth, yes.
Okay, those emails were all concerning the Tupac case.
Yes, correct.
Now,
and that was over the course of several years.
Fine.
Okay.
But once again, you had said, hey, we have information, please look at my documentary, right? Something was on.
No, that's not what I said. I said watch Death Row Chronicles.
Oh, I apologize.
Hey,
So-
you keep conflating my documentary with the series Death Row Chronicles. I did not make Death Row Chronicles. I was just a consultant on it.
Okay.
But that's the one where Keefe first went public with his interview, which made it noteworthy enough for me to be like, you should look at this. This is new information for your case.
And when you sat down to actually start working on the project Death Row Chronicles,
yes,
we are listening to audio of those two interviews that happened, right?
Correct.
Now, up until that point, fair to say, Mr. Davis had never spoken about this publicly.
To my knowledge, he'd never spoken publicly about this case. No, that's what made it significant.
Right, and you had been aware, of course, that according to your understanding of the proffer of 2008, if he didn't say anything to, like, say, a media source, then the proffer would still be protecting him.
That's how I understood it, yes.
So, in essence, when you were sitting down with Mr. Davis, you were pushing him to violate the proffer.
I'm not pushing him. I'm not even in the room with him.
I know. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Okay.
But in essence, you are on a little earbud or something along those lines in another room, and you're telling the interviewer to keep pressing on Mr. Davis.
I was not thinking at all about him violating his proffer. I honestly didn't think the proffer would ever be used. I didn't understand that's how that worked. I thought he's giving a public confession. That public confession can be used, absolutely.
Now, in addition to that, you are in another room, and you do not want to be seen by Mr. Davis.
That's correct.
In fact, Mr. Kading, Detective Kading, former Detective Kading, is also not present because he does not want to be seen by Mr. Davis.
That's correct.
And so in essence, as you're sitting there listening to the conversation, you're telling the person information that's specific to the 2008 report.
Yes, I'm going. I know when he knows more to a question that he hasn't answered yet, or if there's another way to phrase a question that might help.
Now, in
But I
addition,
can tell you sorry to cut you off, but most of the questions were written in advance. I only offered up maybe a half dozen total across 2 interviews of additional questions.
yeah, so let's make sure we understand, because we're not in the room and there's no cameras. As we're listening to the recording, there's another voice that's on the recording, sometimes talking about getting a Diet Coke or something to do like, oh, this is great. Is that you?
No, there were a couple other, it depended on when people came and went from that office, and there was different people in there on different days. It was just employees of the production company or other contractors that were on that show.
And in addition to that, while you're sitting there, you're having these conversations about Mr. Davis. And you are, is it typing? Because I'm hearing like little knocks on something. Is that you texting?
That's me texting, yes.
And so you're texting the individual that's listening?
I'm texting Maria Diaz, yes, sir.
Now, as you're doing that, of course, Mr. Davis does not know that you're doing that.
Correct.
And you are working at that particular point for which company?
I was a contractor for Entertainment One / Creature Films, the production company.
So you are not an employee, you're an independent contractor?
Correct.
All right. Technically working for yourself?
Sure.
All right. And the contract that was between Mr. Davis and whoever on the show would have been who? You?
No, it would have been with the production company.
All right. So the production company meaning who?
Again, Entertainment One or Creature Films. I'm not sure who he dealt with.
Okay. So Mr. Davis has a contract with regards to the production. And during the time period that we are listening to your recording, fair to say though that you have basically taken your phone and placed it by the speaker.
Yes, that's correct.
And you're basically recording the entire conversation.
That's right.
Including the parts that technically was never ever either produced in a BET production or anything like that.
There were some extra bits in there, sure.
Sure. And once again, you didn't have the permission of either BET to do that, right?
Again, I didn't have to seek their permission to do it.
You're an independent contractor. You don't have a contract with Mr. Davis. So tell me how you believe you could record that without Mr. Davis's permission.
Absolutely. I'm a technical.
I'm asking for his contract, Your Honor.
Overruled. I think he can answer the question as asked.
A couple of things. First of all, contract does not outline every single duty that that a crew member is going to do on a shoot. It's not like you have to constantly keep getting permission to do stuff in order to do your job. My job there was primarily centered on his interview. So once I realized that when he showed up that first day and was kind of giving them the runaround, and he was dressed in shorts and a t-shirt and was acting like he didn't know why he was supposed to be there and that the interview wasn't supposed to be that day, I sat in that office for quite a while before they got started. And then when we've learned that basically, look, we're gonna have to interview this guy twice. We're gonna try to get him in now and get something, but he's gonna have to come back later. I thought, okay, well, then I'm gonna record it so that in between these interviews, I don't know how long it's gonna be before we get him back again, I have a record of what he said so that when we come back for round 2, I know proper questions that should be in there, what has already been answered thoroughly and what we need to ask him again. That is why I made that recording. Never in a million years did I think that recording was going to be playing in court.
And of course, you turned over that recording to BET because once again, it's part of their work, right?
No, of course not.
You kept that recording.
Yes.
And you do understand, though, that in the state of California, if you are recording someone without their permission, that is a crime.
It just calls for a legal conclusion again.
I'm asking for his understanding of the laws, Senator.
Calls for a legal conclusion.
Sure, I'll
It's sustained. Hang on, you can, if you want to rephrase without asking him about a specific California law.
That's all right. He's ready to do it. Let me ask you this question, though, sir. When you are recording this conversation,
yes,
did you at that particular point turn it over to Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department?
I did not.
You kept that recording,
yes,
and then you created your project with that, right?
No, I've never used that recording for anything. What project are you talking about?
Let me ask you this though, sir. In terms of who's responsible here to solve the Tupac murder, that's not your responsibility,
It
right?
can be anybody's responsibility.
Okay. You're saying that it's not Metro's?
It could be theirs as well. Of course it is. Any citizen can investigate a crime if they want to.
Right. And we're going to get into that a little bit. But in terms of how you go about doing your job, fair to say that a detective would be the one that would handle that investigation.
Sure.
Right?
At some point, sure.
Right. And it's not like, say, the FBI. It's not LAPD, right? Compton PD. In this case, the Tupac murder was the responsibility of Metro.
To some extent, except that I know LAPD made the argument that if the crime was planned in the city of Los Angeles, that they could also take ownership of the case. And you can ask Greg Kading about that if he comes up here.
I don't even know what you just said. I'm just asking you this question. Let me just ask you this question, sir. So you send over notice to Metro and you say, hey, we solved this thing. You send over 100 emails to Metro. And they didn't do anything about it, did they?
No, because they were.
No, that's a yes or no answer. They didn't do anything about it.
What didn't do anything about it. Define didn't do anything. They were working the case as far as I was concerned. They were responding to me. I was sending them because he kept talking. He started doing YouTube interviews. So every time he would do an interview, I'd send it to him. Be like, hey, here's a new interview. Hey, this clip, he says this for the first time publicly. He says this, and there was back and forth going on with me and Detective Mogg. So I got the sense that he was absolutely working that case. And it's detective work 101. If your suspect is talking, you let him talk. And he was talking, so every interview he did was additional evidence to use against him.
Okay. So what was he talking in?
What was he talking in?
Sure. What was the information that he was talking in? Are you talking about your documentary at this particular point?
No. I'm talking about he's going on YouTube. He's going on Vlad TV. He went on, I think he ended up doing a total of 9 interviews on YouTube over a 4-year period.
Did you verify any of the information that he gave you?
What do you mean?
Well, the information that you learned in this case, right?
Who gave me?
Well, the information that you learned from either the listing of the 2008 proper or in the interview with Mr. Davis. Did you go out and conduct your own investigation to verify the information?
Sure. I went through, well, again, I had unfettered access to the case files, and there's lots of corroborating evidence in those case files.
Now, when you say the case files, and I want to make sure I'm clear here.
Sure.
You're talking about Greg Kading.
Yes.
And you're talking about Greg Kading, who's former LAPD.
Well, I'm not just talking about Greg Kading. I'm talking about every detective that came before me.
Question,
I am. You're trying to phrase it in a certain way. Not just Greg Kading. It's not just his files. In fact, the majority of them are from detectives that came before him, including Las Vegas police files.
All right. What detectives are you talking about before Greg Kading?
Sure. A lot of the biggie detectives had gathered evidence. Don't shake your head. A lot of biggie detectives gathered evidence. Jeez, man. A lot of biggie detectives that gathered evidence that pertained to the Tupac case because the two cases it became known or believed were connected. So they had informants coming forward to them on the biggie case that were saying, hey, these two things are connected.
Okay. So once again, evidence or information that would have gone to the detective, right?
Eventually to Greg Kading and his team of detectives, yes.
Once again, you got to understand, Greg Kading was not responsible for the investigation of the Tupac murder.
Correct.
He was part of the task force specifically for the Biggie Smalls murder.
That's correct.
And you are aware at some point he's removed from that task force, right?
Yes.
And one of the things he does is he steals the Tupac file.
I object to the word steals.
I'm sorry, he borrowed.
I don't mean in like a legal sense I object. This is a person I object to. I'm not raising an objection. I take issue with the word steal.
Okay.
Any detective can take case files with them when they leave the department. It happens all the time. It's extremely common. In fact, I just did a series on Ted Bundy last year based on the same exact thing. One of the lead detectives on the Bundy case in the 70s took a box of files with him, and we were able to obtain those files, and we made a show about Ted Bundy based on his files.
Are you a detective, sir?
No.
So you can't sit here and tell us what a detective can and cannot do. Fair? You're not a detective.
Like legally, I can't say that. I can say based on my experience as a true crime producer for the past 20 years, it's very common in my line of work to come across files that detectives have taken home with them.
That's fair.
So I want to make sure I'm clear. You're telling us that Detective Kading took a file that he wasn't even part of the investigation on? You're saying that's what happened here?
But Judge, I assume a fact, not an evidence.
No, I think he mentioned that, Judge.
What do you mean? He took a file that was not a case, he didn't work?
Yes.
As soon as Keefe confessed to the Tupac's murder, they took ownership of that case. And again, you're going to have to ask him that question because I was not there for that.
So once again, that's something you're saying that Greg Kading should come here and testify to.
If he wants to, sure.
And once again, based upon your research of this file for the 2 years prior to the documentary or the project you were working on.
Yes.
Just for that.
Murder rap, yes.
You learned, of course, that Greg Kading was basically had issues with credibility.
Objection, Judge. We approach.
Yep.
They're losing control of the courtroom. They're losing control of the
All right, for the
courtroom.
record, the jury has exited the room. So going back to our initial first issue regarding, can I actually have you step off the stand for a little bit, sir? Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Regarding what can be questioned regarding Greg Kading. That was the initial objection. So the initial objection had to do with Detective Kading. Your objection is that you can't impeach someone through the testimony of someone else. Your position is that the credibility of the report that they're relying on is important. I do think to some degree he can explore the credibility of the information that he is relying on as long as it's accurate. And so I think there is a concern regarding what the actual federal judge did find regarding Detective Kading being maybe elusive or however you want to phrase it.
Well, can I ask that question on direct? I asked no question as to his opinion of Greg Kading, either as to his credibility, as to his quality of his detective work, anything that would allow the defense to then go into specific acts and ask questions about someone's character. So what's the predicate foundation that has been laid that says I can now attack the character of somebody whose character is being somewhat assassinated here, right? He released a recording of the defendant. That is the only evidence as to what Greg Kading has done in this case. And it's a recording. So what are we worried about when it relates to whether or not his credibility as a witness? He hasn't testified. No other fact has come in from this case as it relates to Greg Kading other than he published a book and he made a documentary, and that's how the 2008 recording came out to the public after he was a private citizen. There has been zero testimony about any investigation done by him, any opinion testimony about his character, his quality as a detective. None of that information has come into the courtroom. So why is it that the defense gets to just ignore the rules of evidence and start asking about specific acts of misconduct for somebody whose character hasn't even been raised?
Mr. Sims?
I think the witness opened the door the moment the state asked him specifically about his research. And going into this idea that he did all this research, he's testified that Greg Kading was like his BFF. I mean, the guys working together on a project with regards to his book. And during this time period, the state starts asking questions that I think traipsed right into the expert opinion area, to which they're saying, oh, it's not expert opinion, this is just lay witness opinion.
And I sustain that objection, saying he can't give opinions about ultimately that it's something that they can lay the foundation for, that this is included in the book and that this is his information about this person, and then they can ultimately argue that. That was my ruling.
Correct.
I don't know if that's how that went down, but.
I think it was good. I'm just saying that what we're doing right now, though, is we're saying, okay, he's testifying as to that 2-year period, that time period in which he now gives opinions on his research. Well, one of the things that he researched, according to his testimony, that he had was the case file. I should be able to get into the veracity of that case file, where it came from, Was it even complete? Who gave it to him? Because I think that's details that we would get out of a
Okay.
detective if Detective Mogg were to testify.
So you're asking for completeness of the file. I think that is something that would be appropriate. What else are you asking for?
I'm asking specifically for the veracity, meaning, look, if a detective got up on the stand and said, I received the file, right? What typically would happen is if it's coming from another jurisdiction like LAPD, you get a COR that says, hey, this is the entire file. Or, like Mr. Giacomo said a few hearings ago, Detective Mogg went down and turned every page of his discovery to match the discovery that was in the file in LAPD. We don't have that here. But this individual is testifying and saying, part of my opinion or experience in this case is the research conducted with the file that Greg Kading gave me, and I want to get into that.
So the completeness of the file is ultimately relying on Detective Kading's representation. This is the full file. That's your concern.
Correct, and how the file is obtained. I think that's critical in this case, because if the file is obtained through the normal procedure, then we don't have a problem. It's a COR.
That goes back to completeness, though, Mr. Sampt. I think you're somewhat circling the same issue because you're saying if it's obtained through the normal course, you get, if we did it discovery-wise here, you'd get some sort of paperwork that this is the entire report, this is everything. And so at the same time, we're going back to your same issue of completeness. And I think completeness is appropriate to inquire into. How do you know this is the complete file?
Sure.
Would you agree with that?
I wouldn't have objected if he said, how do you know it's the complete file? And he can answer, I don't know, or whatever, but that wasn't the question that was being asked of him. The question being asked of him was accusing a detective, a former detective, character, or impugning his character for someone who's not testifying.
Understood. So obviously we can't impeach him, but I think to get to the issue of completeness of the file, you can talk about how this wasn't through the regular channels. Through the regular channels, there may be some safeguards on the completeness of the file and making sure every document is turned over. You don't have those safeguards here because we're relying on what Detective Kading gave to you. Detective Kading's promoting a book. Your entire theory. You can get into that. So then moving on to the other issue that sort of came up while we were at the bench. I have reviewed these emails. They were largely about scheduling and if the things that Detective Mogg was aware of during certain interviews. I didn't in any way see them to be exculpatory because they were not mentioning anybody else potentially being involved. Additionally, they had nothing to do with the initial ask, which was emails between Kading and Mogg. However, I can get those to you if you think that they are relevant to your defense theory.
I think it does, because once again, it highlights the need for Detective Mogg to testify in this case.
Well, at the end of the day, whoever testifies, the need is on the state, right? They get to decide who they call in their case. They get to decide how they prove their case, because at the end of the day, the only question that matters is can they prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. If they don't think they can, that inures to your benefit because they can't prove their case, right?
No,
So at the end of the day, the way that they choose to prosecute this case may not be the way you choose to prosecute it, may not be, not that you're doing that, but, or the way that I would choose, or another prosecutor in the office would choose. But at the end of the day, that's what they're doing. It may not include Detective Mogg, it may not include Detective Kading, it may not include a lot of people.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I can get you those emails. State anything further?
Well, just that I'd like him to be ordered not to go into character evidence without a proper foundation. He can't open his own door with the witness by suggesting, hey, this is what his character is, and then let me tell you why I think that.
I agree with that.
I would have to open the door to Greg Kading's character in order for them to impeach it, and I haven't.
Okay, I agree with that. Ultimately, I think we've covered this specific issue because he's going to focus more so on the completeness of the file and the way that it was obtained. But if there's another contemporaneous objection regarding that, we'll address that. But I agree with that. Okay. Emails. How do you want me to get them to you? You don't really answer your email very well, so.
I don't read well, Your Honor. If I could just have maybe, can we print it out?
No.
All right.
Thank
Let me
Judge, I can have the link sent from what
Just
we
send
had
the- just
sent
send
to
the
you to Mr. Singh,
Okay, sounds good.
or to me, really.
Yeah.
So I've reviewed them My initial in-camera review was that they weren't relevant, but at this time, because you're requesting and have sort of opened another avenue into them that I didn't realize was necessarily relevant through my initial review of the case, we'll have them disclosed through that exact same link.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Use the restroom before we bring them
of course. I need to do the same. All right, we'll be in recess.
Now, as you can see, they had to discuss all about these files about Greg Kading because Greg Kading made a big mistake. Was this guy
On record in State versus Davis, C-377-407. Mr. Stamp has
brought
more
up the
material
fact
for
that
tomorrow,
Greg
but
Kading
may
gave him
still
the
go
file.
into his cross-examination in the morning. We've checked. This witness is available to come back tomorrow if necessary, so we'll just go from there. So anything else we need to address outside the presence before we bring the jury and Mr. Dorsey back in?
There you are.
Stay. Okay, let's bring him in.
Captain Jerry?
All right, welcome back, Mr. Dorsey. So the party stipulates the presence of the jury.
Yes, sir.
You may all be seated. Mr. Dorsey, you're still under oath. Mr. Stamp, you're still on cross-examination. You may
Thank you.
proceed.
Referring you back to your previous testimony with regard to Kathy Scott, just for the jury's edification, Kathy Scott is not a detective.
Correct.
She is a reporter.
She's a journalist, yes.
She's a journalist, all right. And she wrote a book with regards to her information she had gathered as that journalist, right?
Correct.
Not her own investigation, but what she had heard on the street.
And from detectives that she talked to, yes.
Right. And so when she first published her book, fair to say what I'm holding up for you, and I want to make sure I'm accurate for the jury, this is the third edition, right?
Okay.
Are you aware that Kathy Scott's first edition that was published was actually in 1997, a year after?
Something like that. It was very fast after the crime. I remember that.
And then there was an update and another update, and what I have right here is the third edition.
Okay.
But with regard to that first edition, it came out a year after the shooting of Tupac.
Sounds about right.
All right. Now, your testimony has been around your research, and you had testified that you had listened to the recording of 2008.
Yes.
That recording was given to you by Greg Kading.
Correct.
Did you ever compare the 2008 recording to the 2009 recording in this case?
I did not have the 2009 recording.
Right, because Mr. Kading did not give you a 2009 recording.
That's correct.
And that was not information that was public, right?
Correct.
Now, with regards to your 2008 recording, did you compare that against the 1998 recording in this case?
Was that like a federal investment? No, I did not.
And once again, Greg Kading did not give that to you because he did not have that.
I don't know if he had it or not, but he didn't give it to me.
Okay. So the proffer that you have, or at least the 2008, is a interview in which Mr. Kading is in the room.
Correct.
Along with Mr. Dupree, or Detective Dupree from the LAPD.
Yes.
As well as an FBI agent.
I believe so, yes.
As well as a United States Attorney.
I believe so.
And as well as maybe somebody from the DEA.
I don't know.
Okay.
And his attorney.
And his attorney, yes. Fine. In terms of those other individuals there, do you have any reports that you can share with the jury about what any of those other agencies did after the 2008 process?
Not that I can recall now.
All right. And once again, that wasn't in the information that Mr. Kading had given to you.
Again, it might have been, but I don't recall.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this next question. you had gone through and said that you had done some research on this case. Are you aware that there was a lawsuit by the Tupac estate against Death Row Records?
I'm not sure.
A civil lawsuit for breach of contract for royalties?
I mean, there's lots of lawsuits like that. I don't know. I can't recall.
All right, so you don't have that information for us.
Again, I don't know. I might.
That's fair. Are you aware of a lawsuit by Orlando Anderson against the Tupac estate for injuries caused in Las Vegas?
I am.
All right. Are you aware that there was a settlement in that case?
No. There was a counter lawsuit for wrongful death filed by the estate of Tupac against him, and I thought that all went away when he was killed.
No, well, and that's what you think, right? Did you?
That's what I believe, yeah.
But you don't have research for that?
I don't think so, no.
You didn't go to the courthouse in LA County and look up the case or do anything like that?
No.
Now, all right, you never looked into depositions taken of Mr. Orlando Anderson or anybody else for that matter. Now, in addition to that, were you aware, based upon your research, that Tupac was actually leaving death row prior to his death?
That is.
Assumes the fact, not evidence.
What's your response?
Based upon his research, Your Honor, he testified about his research for this case.
I think what Mr. Dujac was saying is that's not true.
No,
And
I'm
you're
saying
assuming a
the
fact.
predicate of his question is assumes the fact that has yet to be established. He's asking the witness.
So in other words, it's not true, the thing he's asking.
I don't know if it's true or
Okay.
not, but he is assuming a fact, not evidence.
Can you lay more foundation?
Sure. In your research of your project in this case, did you ever look into the relationship between Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight?
Yes.
And during the time that you looked through that relationship, did you learn that Tupac was not happy with Suge Knight?
I did not. There's conflicting accounts about what was going on at that time, whether or not Tupac was going to leave Death Row because he was unhappy, or whether the idea was that he was going to set up his own label that would then be distributed through Death Row, and that is what Suge Knight wanted his big superstar artists to do, was to branch out, start their own companies, but with Death Row continuing to be the central company that it all flows through.
And that information you're providing to us, is that in some document somewhere?
I don't remember where I got that from.
And regarding Tupac's position here, he had finalized his 3 album in terms of his obligations to Death Row.
As I understand it, yes.
And he had also at some point started to create his own label, Nakadai.
Correct, I just said that.
And thank you. And with regards to that label, he actually had a book of music that he was going to take with him into that label, right?
I'm not aware of that.
And with regards to the information here, it looks like not only did Tupac fire Death Row, but safe to say that he also
Objection
fired.
assumes a fact, not an evidence.
You guys approach?
Is this lawyer smoking crack? Does he not know? He talking about he fired Death Row. How you gonna fire Death Row? This lawyer don't know nothing about this case. They like, what? Huh? That's speculation. That's not proven. None of this has been proven. It's like everybody's like confused. Like, what is he talking about?
All right, Mr. Stamps, you may proceed.
Okay. Last question I asked you was, are you aware that Tupac had fired David Kenner?
Objection against.
Are you aware if?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up here. Are you aware if Tupac had fired David Kenner?
I've heard that claimed. I don't know that for a fact.
And just for the jury's edification, David Kenner was Death Row's lawyer.
Correct.
Are you aware if Tupac had requested an audit of Death Row's books to see what money they may have taken from him?
Again, I've heard rumors of that. I've never seen any evidence of it. A lot of the questions you're asking me right now, I know are based off conspiracy theories out there about alternate theories of this. And I just would wonder if you have any evidence of that you would base your question on.
Mr.
Or if you're
Garcia,
just using questioning
you
of
can't
me.
ask him questions. He asks you questions.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'm just wondering.
Let's
It
just
does-
do it by the book.
Sure, understood.
Thank you. Mr. Sampson, ask a question. He's going to give an answer, I think.
Well, let me ask you this as well, sir. Are you aware if Reggie Wright was the security company or had a security company in charge of protecting Suge Knight and
Correct.
Tupac Shakur? Can I just finish my question, please, sir? I know you're getting a little eager here, but at the night of the fight at the MGM, that Reggie Wright Jr. had a company that was supposed to protect Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur.
Yes.
Are you aware if on that particular night, Reggie Wright had 20 to 25 either retired or off-duty police officers in a club called 666 on the night of the shooting of Tupac Shakur?
It's Club 662, and I'm not aware of the number.
You don't know?
No.
Are you aware if on the night of the shooting, there was only one individual that was with Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur by the name of Frank Alexander?
Well, one that was official security named Frank Alexander, yes.
Okay, one person.
Correct.
Now, in addition to that, are you aware, sir, that in the time period in which
I understand, but I object if.
then I was not supposed to use it. Let me ask you this.
Rephrase, thank you.
Yes. Do you have any information at all as to whether or not Frank Alexander had a walkie-talkie or Nextel radio?
I don't know.
In addition to that, let me just go through here. You had mentioned that you had read this book. I'm showing you again.
Yes.
This is my kind of just, you're very eager. But this is my copy of the Compton Street Legend, okay? You read this book?
Yes.
All right. Let me just go through the book here real quick. Do you know who rapper Foxy Brown is?
Yes.
Foxy Brown is not dead.
No, she's not.
And in the book, Mr. Davis refers to Foxy Brown in the book.
Yes.
In fact, he refers to her as somebody that was in the car with Zip before Zip had asked her to get out of the car so he could have a conversation with Mr. Davis.
Correct.
And that conversation took place in the valet area of the MGM Grand.
Or was it valet or the parking area?
Well, do you want to look at the book to make sure that we're clear?
Well, I'm not sure between the book or the 2008 proffer, but it was parking lot or the valet area. I don't remember specifically where he said it was. Just outside the MGM.
All right. Your Honor, may I approach?
You may. Are you refreshing recollection?
I
or are
am
you
refreshing his
impeaching?
recollection, Your Honor. I don't want him to read it, but just read
He
it.
didn't say he didn't remember. Oh, he did say he didn't recall which of the two accounts. Okay.
Yeah, he says while we were waiting at the.
Hold on, no, there's no question pending yet, sir. You're so eager. You're so eager.
You can keep calling me that, but just trying to answer your questions.
So I'm going to keep your elbow. So with regards to the question is, this conversation or at least event occurred at the MGM at the valet area.
That actually is ambiguous in that book. It says while they were waiting for their cars at the valet, Zip called them over to his car. Does not state where his car is parked.
Right, so Zip could be anywhere on property.
Correct.
Wait until I'm done with my question. Including, it's a multi-level parking structure, right? You're saying that that's big.
Yeah, I don't know if it was in a parking structure. I'm just saying it could have been anywhere in the parking area of the MGM Grand.
Did you verify that Foxy Brown was actually in Las Vegas on the night of the fight of September 7th, 1996?
I did not.
There's an account in here about Orlando Anderson. Do you recall reading in the book about Orlando Anderson and when he arrived in Las Vegas?
I don't recall what the book said specifically.
All right, so if you would to turn with me, I think to that book right there, to page 96, with looking at page 96 of the book that you read, refresh your recollection.
The page numbers might be different here because this is the Kindle version, but let me see.
Can you just wait until I'm done with my questions, sir?
Can you stop saying that to me, man? Jeez, dude. Just having a normal conversation with you. You don't have to keep cutting me off and making me sound like I'm eager.
The page numbers are going to be significantly different between the Kindle and the book, so he's going to have to just approach them with the book to show him how it's fine, because the Kindle completely repeats.
Nobody else has a copy of this book? Keefe, you
there
didn't
is.
bring one? No, just kidding, sorry. Sorry, I think we have another copy.
I'll bring another copy. May I approach you?
Yes. Whose phone?
Okay, page 96.
Yes. Are you aware, or to refresh your recollection, are you aware that in the book, when Davey Lane, meaning Orlando Anderson, arrives in Las Vegas, he purchases a tuxedo?
Let me see, hold on. Yes, I see that here.
And the reason why he purchased a tuxedo is because he said he saw former Major League Baseball player Barry Bonds with a badass brown Versace tuxedo. So Davey Lane decided he wanted to buy the same tuxedo, right?
Yes.
Are you aware of the whereabouts of Barry Bonds on the night of, or the day of, September 7th, 1996?
I'm not.
You didn't look into that?
No.
Now, in addition to that, on that same page, sir, are you aware that in the book, Mr. Davis says he rents 3 rooms on the same floor at the Caesar's Palace?
Yes.
Did you ever verify whether or not he had actually rented any rooms at all at the Caesar's Palace on September 7th, 1996?
There would be no way to verify that.
That's a yes or no answer.
No.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, he mentions his purchase. We'll keep it on the same page. You're fine.
I got it.
Page 96. Mr. Davis says that he goes to the Versace store, and while he's there, he purchases himself a $3,000 blue suit with white pinstripes and some additional Crocs, I guess, or shoes from the Gucci store, and a white shirt. Call that?
Yes.
Did you at any point ever determine whether or not Mr. Davis actually owned a $3,000 blue suit with white pinstripes?
No.
Now, page 97. Mr. Davis says he sat on the second row of the fight, not far from some of the celebrities. Do you have any proof at all in your research or your investigation as a citizen in this case indicating that Mr. Davis sat on any row in the fight?
No.
Turn with me, if you could, to page 92. There are 2 pictures that are there. You see those pictures?
Yes, sir.
The picture to the left there, underneath the caption reads, "Me and my sister at the fight." Do you know who it is that's standing next to what proposes to be Mr. Davis?
I don't.
Do you know when that picture was taken?
I don't.
And do you know where that picture was taken?
I don't.
All right. Now over to the right, you have another picture underneath that says, "Me and my nephew, Davey Lane." You see that picture? Do you know when that picture was taken?
No.
All right. And with regard to that picture, fair to say the 2 individuals that are standing there look like they're wearing some type of overcoat. Is that right?
Yes.
And hats.
Yes.
And informal wear with suits and ties.
Yes.
In your review of
what Mr. Kading had sent to you, did you ever review any of the surveillance video from MGM?
Yes.
Did you at any point see any individuals that were dressed exactly like these two individuals in your review of the MGM surveillance?
Not that I can recall.
All right. And fair to say that once again, based upon your research, that September in Las Vegas would be a relatively hot month.
Correct.
Now, in addition to that, you had.
But can I say that this is not, he does not claim that this is a picture of him at the fight on September 7th, does he?
So you're the one that's, you've got the review there.
It says me and my nephew, Baby Lane.
Correct. And just to make sure we're clear, the jury can look at that photograph later, so.
Okay, sure.
That's fine.
Okay.
And once again, you just didn't do any research on that at all, did you?
I did. This is not how Baby Lane is dressed in the video at the MGM Grand, so that's clearly not from that night.
All right. Now, in addition to that, you had also reviewed this idea that they were waiting at Club 662, and at some point they decide that they're going to leave and go back to where they were supposed to come from, right? Is that yes?
Yes.
Or no? Is that back to the Caesar's Palace?
They were going back to the Strip.
They were going back to the Strip.
Yes.
And they were going back to have fun.
Correct.
Now, they stopped, right, to get liquor, and it seems like Mr. Davis is very specific about his liquor. He wants to buy some Dom Perignon, Rosé, and Cristal. Do you know those particular alcoholic beverages?
I'm familiar, yes.
All right. Now, let me ask you this. Where does he go to buy the liquor?
Are you talking about, do you want me to quote what's in the book?
So it's on page 103. Review of the page 103 helps refresh your recollection as to where he bought the liquor.
That's the worry about it is what he said in the book, yes. Liquor barn.
Okay, can you tell us where in Las Vegas in 1996 there was a liquor barn?
Actually, I did do the research on this, and there was a liquor barn at Flamingo and I'm trying to remember it's the exact place, but it was off of Flamingo, and I can't remember the exact street, but I actually did do the research on that.
Are you from Las Vegas?
I'm not.
Have you ever lived in Las Vegas at any given moment?
No, sir.
And when you said you did the research, what research did you do to verify?
Wait, let me finish, sir. It's all right, you're eager, I get it. What did you,
Can you please stop badgering me, man? Like,
Okay.
it's ridiculous.
It's up to him to object. I understand that you are the one, you feel
Yeah.
upset that it's up to
I
Mr.
object
DiGiacomo.
To the commentary, first of all. Second of all, it sounded like to me he had finished his question, and then as soon as Mr. Dorsey goes to answer, he then cuts him off and says, well, let me finish. Mr. Staff should ask a question, allow him to answer, and we can knock off with the.
We're gonna strike the we're gonna strike the commentary. You may proceed with asking questions.
Thank you. I'm trying to be very respectful to you, sir, and I would really appreciate
Okay,
if you would be
there's no question pending for you. Hey, I got it.
Okay,
No question pending. You ask questions, you answer. Thank you, guys.
what research did you do to verify that there was a liquor bar in Las Vegas?
I can't remember now, but I think,
Once again, I'm not done with my question, sir.
I'm sorry, you just asked it. You're repeating the question. I apologize. Go ahead. Finish.
All right. What information did you pull or research did you conduct to indicate that in 1996 in September, there was a liquor barn in Las Vegas?
As I recall, I think I looked up old news articles and looked for advertisements, and I maybe even found one that was like currently at that location to show that it was still there, that it had been there up until very recently. And it lined up with where he said it was.
Did you ever conduct a investigation of the Secretary of State website to indicate whether or not there was ever a liquor barn in Nevada?
No.
Did you ever look up licensing in Clark County with regards to whether or not there was ever a liquor barn in Nevada in 1996?
No.
Just the newspaper articles?
Yes.
Now, in addition to that, there was some discussion here in the book, once again on page 103, about certain individuals that were in the van that Mr. Davis says that he was in at some point and then transfers over to the vehicle. You remember that?
Wait, say again?
There's information about individuals that were in a van that followed what is the vehicle that Mr. Davis was in. Do you recall who was in that vehicle, in the van?
I'm reading from the book here. Yeah, he wrote C. Ray, who's Corey Edwards, who he lists as one of his top salesmen. His cousin Trey and BMF's Big Meech out of Detroit.
Are you aware that BNF's Big Meech out of Detroit is still residing in Detroit?
I'm not familiar with where he's located.
Did you at any point do any type of research or private investigation on your own to interview Mr. Meech, Big Meech out of Detroit, to see if this was true?
No.
Now, fair to say that in this book, Mr. Davis talks a little bit about his exploits in Compton, right?
Yes.
And he talks about his work that he was doing as a drug dealer.
Yes.
Now, during the time period of your research, are you aware that shortly after the shooting of Tupac Shakur in September of 1996, that there were search warrants executed throughout Compton of different houses in Compton?
Yes.
And those houses included Mr. Davis's house, right?
Yes.
And it's his family house as well as another house that he resided in as well, right?
I believe there were two houses next door to each other, yes.
There was a third house on California Street. Are you aware of that house?
I'm not aware of the entire list of addresses that they raided.
Okay, but once again, we're just relying on your research here. Now, in terms of your research, fair to say that in the searches of those houses, we don't ever find a .40 caliber gun, right?
I actually don't know that for a fact.
Okay. And in terms of the searches of those houses, we don't find any information that would say that Mr. Davis was actually in Las Vegas on the night of September 7th, 1996.
I'm not aware.
That would be something for another detective, right?
Sure.
Do you know who the detective would be that would testify to that?
I don't, one of the Compton police detectives, but I'm not sure.
Now, are you aware that Mr. Davis says at some point that he was moving about 300 kilos a month of cocaine out of Compton?
Yes.
In your research at all about the search warrants that were executed in Compton, was there any indication at all of money found in Mr. Davis's home or any of the houses that he was associated with?
I can't recall that.
You can't recall it because you don't know?
I don't know.
Now, in addition to that, I want to make sure I'm clear here. There's a picture here that's on page 30. And it looks like a Pop Warner picture, maybe something like that, football picture?
Yes.
Okay. Is this true?
Is this true that it's a Pop Warner football picture?
Well, is it a picture of Suge Knight and Mr. Davis?
I believe so. I used to be able to find Suge on here, but I'm not sure if I could now.
Okay, well, what about my client?
Again, I don't know.
Well, in addition to that, are you aware at all about the photograph that's taken on page 12 of the book?
Only in that it's in the book.
Okay. Now, page 11, once again, tells the reader of the book that he's running a multi-million-dollar nationwide drug empire. That's at the bottom of 11. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you have any proof of that?
Actually, yes. I've interviewed 3 former Compton gang unit detectives, and across the board, they told me that Keefe D was a high-level drug trafficker, And that basically by the 90s, they rarely saw him on the streets anymore because he was effectively too big for them. They were only running into his soldiers at that point.
Okay, so you're telling us something that somebody else said. Who are the detectives?
I interviewed Bobby Ladd and Reggie Wright Sr. and Ray Richardson.
Are you aware that Reggie Wright Sr. was a member of the Compton Police Department?
Yes, sir.
And are you aware that in 2000, the Compton Police Department was dissolved because it was corrupt?
Objection. That's assumes the fact, not evidence.
Can you rephrase? Are you aware that they were dissolved?
Well, yes, Your Honor. Let me ask you this then. With regards to the Compton Police Department, are they currently Compton Police Department as of today?
No, sir.
Why not?
Well, there's conflicting accounts of why it was shut down. And I believe it may have been 2002. I don't know if it was 2000. But the city said that it was corrupt and they were shutting it down for corrupt reasons. Of course, if you talk to the police that were there, it was their contention that City Hall was corrupt and they didn't want the police department investigating them. And then once they shut down, the Las Vegas Sheriff's Department took over policing for the city of Compton. They took over the contract. And I know that many of those Compton police officers were just immediately hired by the LA Sheriff's Department and continued to work in Compton.
Now, in terms of your evidence here today, or the things that you have, fair to say that what you're telling us is basically based upon what other people have told you?
Sure.
Do you have any physical evidence that we can look at to help us determine whether or not Mr. Davis was actually in Las Vegas on the night of the fight?
Physical evidence? No, I don't.
And with regards to the raids in this case, and I want to make sure I did not miss this point, were there any indication at all of very expensive $6,000 suits in any of his homes?
So I can't recall because the search warrant and the return on the search warrant is literally dozens and dozens of pages long, just lists after lists after lists of guns, ammunition, jewelry that were seized from these. I mean, it was something like 30 some addresses, I think. Like 2/3 of them, I think, were actually Piru blood addresses. The other third were Crips. I can't recall from memory. I don't have a photographic memory of every single item that was recovered, so I can't answer that question.
All right, but fair enough. Your research is targeting towards Mr. Davis, but in terms of your recollection, you don't recall what was actually in his homes.
Off the top of my head, I don't recall that, no.
And that information would be better served by a member of Compton Police Department?
Sure, they could probably do that. But again, it was 30 years ago. They would probably need to be given a heads up so they can look it up before they come here to testify.
And just one final point, and then I'll just let you go. Your testimony here is that let me pick up here and make sure I'm clear. In your review of the Death Row Chronicles book, is there anything at all in your reading of the book? And once again, you tell me you read every page of that book, right?
Death Row Chronicles book?
Yeah. The one by Greg Kading?
Murder Rap book.
I'm sorry, Murder Rap. Yeah, there you go. Did you read this book?
Yes, sir.
Cover to cover?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything at all in the book that says that, you know what, I don't know for sure if anything in this book is true or not, take it for, like a buyer beware or reader beware in this book?
I don't recall. It's been many years since I read it.
Now, what about the Captain Scott book and any of its editions? Did you ever recall anything in here that says buyer beware or reader beware of what's in this book?
Same answer. It's been years since I read it. I don't know.
Okay. How about the Compton Street Legend book? Do you have anything at all in here that would indicate to the reader that, hey, we can't verify the information in this book?
I don't recall.
Okay, if you turn with me inside this book to the table of contents, see that? And on the left-hand side, there is a portion that's in there, correct?
Yes.
And in that portion, does it say that even though the authors and publishers have made every effort to ensure the accuracy and completeness of the information contained in this book, we assume no responsibilities for errors, inaccuracies, omissions, or any inconsistency herein?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't read that in any of those other books, right?
Again, I don't recall. It's just typical legalese disclaimer.
Do you know how much Mr. Davis was paid for his interviews with the project that you're on?
Death Row Chronicles?
Yes.
No, sir.
And fair to say that would have been a contract between himself and the company that you were working for as an independent contractor?
It could have been a contract between him and BET. Typically, talent contracts are with the channel, not necessarily a production company. So I don't know.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Redirect Mr. Tajama.
Just briefly, Mr. Sanft started out talking about you providing your recordings
Yes.
to us. Did somebody have to authorize that for you to release those to us?
Yes.
And who had to authorize it?
So a attorney at Paramount Pictures, which owns BET Network, authorized it. And then the head of Creature Films, which is the production company, also authorized it, both to me in writing and in email.
Now, Mr. Sanft asked you a bunch of questions about the liquor barn at Maryland and Flamingo, or you said Flamingo, you can remember the street. Were you aware if Lee's Liquor used to call itself Lee's Liquor Barn before they got a trademark infringement?
I'm not sure.
How would he be aware?
I'm just wondering. Mr. Sanft's allowed to ask every question on earth. Just add an if. Were you?
I can't remember if that's how I discovered that or not.
Are you aware that even today, if there's a liquor locker at Flamingo in Maryland?
Yes, I think that's how I first tipped onto the fact that there was a liquor store in the region or the area where Keefe had described.
Now, Mr. Sanft asked you if you had ever tried to confirm that Foxy Brown was in Vegas.
Right.
Are you aware if Foxy Brown's real name is Inga Marchand?
Yes.
Are you aware if Inga Marchand was even present at Biggie Smalls' murder?
She was, yes.
That's the relevance, Your Honor, and Lee.
What's your response, Mr. Tajama?
I don't think it was. I said, "Are you aware if?" So of course it's not leading by definition.
Okay, so it's not leading. What about the relevance?
Well, I'm about to ask him a relevant question about Inga Marchand.
I'll overrule. I'll give you a little bit of leeway to establish the relevance. Go ahead.
Have you ever tried to interview Inga Marchand?
I have not.
Are you aware of how many detectives have ever tried to interview Inga Marchand?
I am not aware. At least for the Tupac case, I know that they tried to reach her for the Biggie case.
In the book in there, Mr. Davis, does he discuss his proffer that took place in 2008?
In the book?
Yes.
I can't remember offhand.
Go to the second to last chapter here. I can do it in Exhibit 127. Sorry, I gotta get to the page. Does he have a chapter entitled "We Know"? And on this exhibit, it is page 120 out of 145.
Yes.
And if you briefly review maybe the first 4 or 5 paragraphs.
Yes, sir.
Have you got to the part yet where he talks about the decision to go down and speak with the police about this event?
Not quite yet. 1 second. Yeah, it's a few pages in, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, you can keep reading, but that paragraph is talking about that subject matter. Is that fair?
Yes.
Or that chapter, I should say.
Correct, yes. The task force and how they got him.
There were questions about what you could and couldn't confirm from Mr. Davis's story with the file that you had. Do you remember those questions?
Say again?
There were questions asked by Mr. Sanft about, did you confirm this or did you confirm things from the 2008?
Yes, sir.
Well, let me ask you this. Were many of the things he said in his proffer confirmed by the Biggie Smalls case file?
Yes.
In fact, had Corey Edwards in 2006 given a statement to police?
Correct. He gave a statement to detectives Greg Kading and Tim Brennan.
Finally, going back to that 2008 statement, I just want to make sure we're clear that as far as you know, the first time the word sea breeze or sea bring the girls in the car, the actual model of the car came from Mr. Davis. Public.
Objection, Your Honor.
Say yes or no, overruled.
In the 2008 proffer?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Recross.
Sir, just based upon your investigation as a civil investigator in this case, did you ever speak with Suge Knight?
No.
No further questions.
Anything further based on that, Mr. DiGiacomo? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions for this witness? Okay. All right, thank you for being with us for these 2 days. Mr. Dorsey, you are excused.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now, that's pretty much it. So that's the prosecution is rest. It's over. They're done. They have nothing else left to discuss. The defense, they got to, I think, Monday to wrap it up. So they rested. And they, as you can see, they got nothing. They got no proof, though, that Keefe D is at the fight. The photo that's in the book is not from the fight, obviously. So that's from a death row Christmas party that they was at. Imagine that, a death row Christmas party Keefe D and all of them was at. That's the photo they got in the book. So it's totally crazy. I don't think Keefe D lies so much, you can't believe anything that he says. So now, you know, he's the boy that cried wolf. This is going to catch up to him. So I'm just saying, somebody's got to go down. And nobody going to cry if it's Keefe D. I'm out.